And we'll start going down through the agenda.
Pam, can you hold just for 1 second longer?
Sure.
I'm just waiting for YouTube to start.
Oh, okay.
It's now streaming live.
And we'll start going down through the agenda.
Okay, you're all
Pam,
set.
can you hold just for 1 second longer?
Sure.
I'm just waiting for YouTube to start.
Hold on, I need to mute that.
Oh,
so
okay.
it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
There's a bit of an echo or something.
All right, should be gone now. And Jeff is coming right now.
Jeff is coming now? Okay, very good. Okay, so, and it is still 6:00. No, it's actually no, yeah, it's still 6:05. So calling the board meeting to order January 5, 2021 at 6:05. First on the agenda is the approval of the treasurer warrants. So we have the payroll warrants of December 18 and December 24 of 2020 and December 31.
I move that we approve the payroll warrants of December 18, December 24, and December 31, 2020.
Second.
So it was, I think Sarah seconded it first, so it's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Sarah to approve the payroll warrants. And calling for the vote. Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
He's on mute.
Jeff's on mute.
Oh, Jeff, where did you go?
He's there. He's just not on mute.
Oh, there he is. Let me see if
Hi.
I can.
There he is.
I
There
vote
he
yes.
is, okay. Okay, Jeff, we're voting, Kathy and Sarah have moved to approve the warrants, and it's your
I vote-
turn. Do you vote to approve?
Yes.
Sarah
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, motion carries 5-0. Account payable, December 23rd, 29th, and January 5th. Can we have a motion?
I move that we approve the accounts payable warrants of December 23, 2020, December 29, 2020, and January 5, 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Sarah to approve the payroll warrant, the accounts payable. Sorry, the accounts payable. Calling for a vote. Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of minutes for December 15, 2020. Are there any errors, omissions, or corrections?
I have a correction, Pam.
You always have one. You are such a careful reader.
I'm an English major. Well, I used to be. So it's not a big deal. It's a really small one. Rob Laliberty's name is misspelled. Wait, maybe I have the wrong name. I'm driving, so I can't look at the paper, but it was in the town manager's report, and it was about the wastewater treatment plant opening up some bids, and I feel like his name was spelled wrong, but I could be wrong.
It is.
Okay, great. Thank you for catching that. Are there any other errors, omissions, or corrections? So could I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
I move that we approve the minutes of December 15, 2020 as amended.
Second.
I've got it by Kathy and Jeff this time. Move to approve the minutes as amended. Calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
And Pam votes yes, motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is number 4 on a committee appointments. We have listed as appointments for Timothy Mary to the Budget Committee, Stephen Wallace to the Budget Committee, and Stephen Wallace to the Planning Board. And the Planning Board nomination is a reappointment.
Pam, can I make a motion to take all 3 at the same time?
You
I'll
sure
second.
can.
I'll second it.
I move to approve all 3 of the committee member applications.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Jeff and Kathy to approve all 3 appointments. Calling for the vote, Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes. Motion carries 5-0. There are no public hearings. So we are up to public comment. So we have anyone who would like to speak during public comment, you may do so on anything that is not on the agenda. So there's a, let's see how you go here. There's a way by tapping in and raising your hand. If you could indicate by doing a raising your hand or going in the chat.
Dennis, you muted everybody.
No, actually, I unmuted everybody, so I don't know why it did that.
No. Can anybody, so.
Anybody they can type into the chat also if they want to say
Right.
anything, and I can unmute
Yeah.
them manually.
Jason wants to say something.
Let me see if I can find Jason.
And if you're going to speak, once you're unmuted, please state your full name.
Jason.
Am I unmuted?
Yep, go ahead.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Putnam. I only have a
Jason.
question. Hi. Happy New Year, everyone.
You too, Jason.
I just wonder how much is in the HM Payson account at this time.
It's over 16 million, Jason.
All right. Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Is there any,
You'll get the full accounting at the next meeting.
Okay. I just know that it's been up and down, and I have some ideas about what to do with it. So
Well,
I'll leave that for another time.
If you stick through the meeting a little bit, we'll have a discussion about that.
Excellent. Thank you.
okay, is there, hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
You're
Here.
inside?
I'm still in my coat, but I'm here.
Kim, your haircut looks
Great.
awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So is there anyone else that would like to make a comment during the public comment section before we're done? You can raise your hand or type into the chat that you'd like to say something. Gonna give you a few, seconds here, a half a minute or so. I'm not seeing anyone. Okay, we're gonna move away from public comment and move on to number 7 on the agenda, unfinished business with Synergy update.
So I see Chad and Steve and William are all on here. So we will see if we can get them to speak up here.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having us today. This is Chad Chivazi with Synergy Power, and with us today we have Steve Barrett and Bill Pham from our team as well.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Yeah, we just wanted to update you, and if we could maybe share the screen in a minute. Basically, the projects we have at the Wiscasset Airport, if you recall, initially were 2 projects, and we don't think it's all bad, but unfortunately, the Public Utilities Commission did clarify they're ruling that they do not want projects to be co-located, which is what we have at the Wiscasset Airport. There are two projects that are next to each other. And while we took steps initially to have separate entities own the projects to get away from that co-location requirement, the PUC sometime in October clarified their rules to make it very difficult, even if there are separate owners to the project. So now we're left with one project. They were both very viable, and it's just the preference of the PUC not to have projects within basically 1 mile of each other. So it goes even beyond just being next to each other. They don't want the projects to be kind of densely populated next to each other. So we were going back, trying to do our numbers to see what still makes a lot of sense, because it does hurt our economics when we have to drop one project. So with that, maybe I can share my screen. Host disabled attendees. I don't know, Dennis, if you could.
I don't know that I actually have that enabled in here right now.
Oh, okay.
So are you just going to show the information that you'd already given me?
Yeah, if you could put that up. I don't know if you have that.
I don't actually, because I'm at home. I can
okay.
share it with them
Okay.
when I get into the office.
Yeah, or we could follow up with the spreadsheet, and Dennis, you could circulate it afterwards. But basically, when we had two projects, the annual lease revenue was twice as much. So it was $1,400 per acre for 20 acres per project. So times two, you had $28,000 of annual lease payments. Times two would be $56,000 of annual lease payments. So unfortunately, we don't have the second project. So we're down to one project at $28,000 of annual lease revenue. And what also kind of hurt the fact that we had to drop one project is that we were going to put the Wiscasset meters on the one or one of the two projects that we had, but that puts us in a commercial bucket that is less economically favorable. So what we were thinking, and we had discussed this preliminarily with Rick at the airport and Dennis, is if the town allowed us to put in small subscribers, mostly that's residential customers, small businesses, then we could get a higher value from the net energy billing credit, and we would be able to mitigate some of the lost lease revenue to the town. So we would still have the $28,000 annual lease payment for the one remaining project, and we would bump that up with another, and we just got to find the right label for it, maybe up to $25,000 in additional revenue. So that's not exactly the additional $28,000 or the savings you would get from the NEB credit for your meters, but it would basically mitigate between, when we had two projects, you had annual benefits of about $100,000 to the town. And instead of going down to $50,000 of annual benefits at town, we would be able to get the town back up to about $75,000. So roughly about a midpoint between the two extremities of either having the two projects, which unfortunately we just can't have now according to the rules. And if we didn't do anything to mitigate, the one project would put us down to $50,000. So basically we're talking about a midway compromise with the town. If you allowed us to put in the small meters, we would get a higher value. Then we could offer $75,000 in annual benefits to town. And we would still be able to put the town meters into one of our other projects that don't have this similar issue of losing one of its projects at the site. So that's the basic summary. And I know I went kind of fast, but I think Dennis can forward the basic spreadsheet that will show you the different items between the annual lease revenue and the metering credits for your meters, and what we're proposing as the difference between having two projects there and now making the most out of the one project we have left. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think Mr. Holloway. I think you're on mute, sir. Oh, I still can't. Dennis, I don't know if he's on mute.
He's not on mute, so it's
Maybe my speaker. You can hear him?
I can't hear him, but he's not muted.
Oh.
Sometimes,
He may be muted himself.
yeah, he may have a mute on his computer.
Yeah, hi, Edward. We can't hear you.
Ed, go to the bottom of your screen with your cursor. On the left-hand side, you'll see a mic.
We still can't hear you.
Ed, you could type into the chat box if you want, and I could read. Or type it to everybody, and then we could all read it.
Or try the volume on your computer itself, not Zoom.
Okay, well, we're waiting for him to figure out his electronic issues, whatever they are. Was there anyone else that had any questions or any comments or had any further information they'd want to share?
I have a question.
Yes, Kathy, go ahead.
Mr. Pham mentioned something about placing one of the meters, a larger meter than the smaller ones or something, at another location. Where would that be? I gather it wouldn't be in Wiscasset. It's got to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And how does Wiscasset get in financial benefit from?
Sure. So Kathy, because it's a virtual program, you basically don't need to have it physically in Wiscasset for the Wiscasset meters to benefit. So we would, right now we have you earmarked for a project that's moving forward in Bryant Park. So
So it's here in
Bryant Pond.
somewhere.
I'm sorry, Bryant
area.
Pond, yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what you meant. Okay, that answers my question.
Yeah, Bryant Park's in New York.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Pond is
I used to
in,
work in
Bryant
New York,
Park.
but-
It's a
yeah,
good time over there.
that's a nice place.
Can
to
I
live.
try again?
Yes, we can hear you now, sir.
Okay, I'm not sure what I did and why it's working now, but first question I had is, I was kind of confused with what Mr. Pham had said. So how many acres is it that you plan on leasing then?
Well, we basically just half of what we originally leased. So it would be from 40 acres down to 20 acres. And we could characterize it in different ways. What we're proposing is, to the extent you allow us to put small subscribers instead of the 9% or so of Wiscasset meters on that site, we get a bigger benefit. So we could maybe lease a bit more, right? So instead of 20 acres, we could lease a bit more, but economically, we would go from, our goal is to go from $28,000 per year on the lease up to $53,000. So that's not exactly the $56,000 you would have gotten if we had both projects moving, But economically, we could do it in the form of maybe leasing out a bit more space for the one project we have left. But we're only left with one project of revenue.
I guess I was more concerned with what the conditions were for the option that's in place right now. And I can't remember the details of it, but what you're saying is now that you intend to lease only 20 acres. And I thought you had said it was $1,400 an acre per year. But now you've changed it to some $53,000. So you've added
Yeah, no, yes.
added another $25,000 to it somehow.
Yes, because we want to find a compromise so that you don't, the town doesn't suffer as much of a loss with the fact that we've had to let go of one project.
Understand.
Okay, so they won't let us build both projects to give $56,000 in lease revenue, which is $28,000 in annual lease revenue per project. Now we're down to one project, but we're trying to find a compromise where if we are able to move your meters to another project and give you 20% savings on those meters, then we have a very short spreadsheet that kind of shows all the numbers of how we kind of meet in the middle of having two projects and what that looks like economically, and one project where we're trying to go somewhere in the middle so that we still benefit the town as much as we can.
I guess I was kind of surprised with what you said earlier, that the primary customer for your original projects was the town of Wiscasset. That was kind of a surprise to me. Did I hear that correctly?
No, you were just one of the customers on the meter. So you had about 8 to 9, Chad knows exactly, 8 to 9% of that, that array of the power.
Yeah, it's about 9%.
Yeah, but because you're in that array, we cannot put in, we cannot get subscribers that are residential or small subscribers. And those subscribers, it's just like residential rates. They pay higher rates. So that helps us get a little bit more economics out of having just one project left. And so we can pass along some of the additional benefits to the town. And that's why we're able to, instead of going from $100,000 in benefits to $50,000, right, when you cut the system or the projects in half, we were able to go somewhere in the middle of about $75,000.
So I'm concluding then that the state prevents you from having mixed customers on a given project.
That is correct.
Wow. I'm not sure that makes sense, but okay, I understand.
Yeah, no, they have the rules and we have to just comply by the rules as best as we can. So you would be a commercial industrial rate.
Understand.
Municipalities, small, medium, large commercial, and there's a volumetric pool that allows for residential subscribers and small, like small businesses, and that they pay a higher credit rate.
I guess the concern that immediately comes to my mind when you talk about Wiscasset with another project is Wiscasset has, I'm thinking, an incredible number of meters. It is not a single meter. There's an incredible number that we have, and I'm not sure how that would work either with Synergy or some other company. I think
no, it's not a problem, sir. It's just an accounting, and we just submit the name of the account holder and the meter number and the account number, and the utility CMP takes care of it.
I guess where I'm going with this is with us buying power from Synergy. You don't supply you wouldn't be supplying our entire energy needs. So we'd also be buying power from CMP. And that would at least, right now we have an incredible number of accounts with CMP. And I see doubling the number of bills we end up having to pay here.
Pam, can I interrupt just for a second?
Yeah, just a minute, Jeff. I want to interrupt myself, actually. I'd like to see if, and I understand the public have questions, but I'd like to see if the Board of Selectmen have questions before the public go any further. Because I think usually what we do in a selectmen meeting is the selectmen get to ask what questions they have. And then if the public have a question, then that is allowed after. So this is going on with the public discussion for an extended period. So, so I'm going to stop the public comments for just a minute and let the selectmen see if they have any questions for these people.
Pam, if I could make a quick suggestion. This whole project has now changed dramatically, and I was going to chime in with Dennis and with you, Madam Chair. This is so important for the town. I think it needs to be its only item on the agenda. And I was wondering if we could kind of postpone this talk tonight and set up a meeting. It can be, you know, an off selectmen's meeting night, or but this is not, we're not going to go anywhere with this tonight because we do not have the information in front of us.
Right, that's correct.
There was no intention that there be any decisions made tonight. This was just to update you as to what has changed. And I do have some information that I can, you know, that I will pass along to you that will help. And if you've already read the manager's report, you will see that I have been talking with some consultants that we now will be able to utilize to help us with this.
Yeah, I just would like to have it be its only article, the only agenda item when we, it's, there's too much information, you know, going back and forth.
And I would like to see the information before I have questions, I guess. I'd like to see what Dennis is going to send around.
Me too.
Right. I think that's where my thought process is going, is the longer they talk and the more numbers that get thrown out here, there's going to be too easy to get confused. And by the time I get to a point where I'm going to have a place to ask my questions, I'm going to forget what half of them are because I can't write this fast. I have several questions already. So I think we need a meeting where we could spend more time on just this one issue, because this it is very important.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what are the other, so I haven't heard from Kim or Kathy. Do either of you feel differently?
No.
Go ahead, Kim.
That was it. Just no. I'd like to have it in writing. I'd like to have time to read it and have, you know, be able to talk. I can't talk about it now because I don't have the information.
Right.
I agree with Jeff. I think we really do need to see the stuff in front of us. I have a whole page of stuff written down, and if I look at it tomorrow, I'll try to remember what does that mean. I mean, it looks like hand scratching.
Yeah, that's me too. I've got a half a page here.
This is Chad Shabazi with Synergy. One thing I do want to mention is we made really good progress on the development of the project. So we've already received the interconnection agreement for the project that's still live, which Bill mentioned. We have the energy billing agreements with CMP. We have we filed the site law amendment with Rick's help. He's been tremendous, and Dennis supporting us to get that application in, and Steve Barrett, who's been instrumental. That was heavy lifting on our part that we got through. He's working on the FAA approvals right now. So we're making really, really good progress on the project. It's just that sometimes with developing these projects, the rules change midstream. And so we have to make adjustments. And so they came up with this rule on co-location that was pretty stringent. And so, you know, we're just making an adjustment based on what's in front of us.
Right.
So, but all the benefits, and we could talk later because I know you guys want to review the information. There's all of this benefit is for the town at no cost to the town, but just, you know, revenue and benefits to the town. So that hasn't changed one bit. What has changed is the fact that we have just one less project now. So with that being said, I'll let you guys kind of review the information. And I think Bill and I and Steve have no issues coming back, you know, even at the next meeting and discussing this with the town.
Okay, that would be very helpful, and I appreciated it. And I do hope that the three of you understand. I don't want you to feel like you wasted your time here, but I hope you understand that it's hard for us to take in things that we are not familiar with in an industry
Sure.
we're not familiar with, and have it just talk to us over an internet. I need to
Sure.
look at things. And I was not on the board when this was first approached to the town. I'm new back on. So I need a little more time I need to read through the agreement, which I have
Sure.
not done, and see if I have questions about that.
Yeah, no problem, Ms. Dunning. We appreciate your time. And again, Rick and Dennis have been tremendous as far as town representatives, and we really enjoyed working with the town of
Okay.
Wiscasset.
So we're going to, let me see, how do you say this? We're going to just table this issue for a future meeting. And Dennis can get back in touch with you after we've had time to see all the documentation and we all have a chance to read through it. We can let him know that we've gone through it, and maybe we can think up between us some questions that need to be asked, so we're not all trying to figure out the questions in the moment. So maybe we can
Sure.
have some questions ready, and then we can schedule another meeting where we have a more full discussion over this.
Absolutely.
And not to simplify things, but you'll see what we sent to Dennis is really just a spreadsheet that talks about what happens if we have two projects that you were hoping for, and what happens now when we have to adjust to one, right? So it's basically pretty simple math that the economics go down by half, and we have to decide if it still makes sense to do the project. But as Chad said, basically the program has been oversubscribed. So basically the projects that have gotten into the program, which is one of which is the Wiscasset Airport project, whether it moves forward or frankly, if it doesn't move forward, everyone loses the benefit. We lose, but also the town will lose.
Sure.
Right? That's the basic math you have to review.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to, thank you for everybody's patience
As I
and
said-
everyone's understanding.
As I said, Pam, this was not intended to be any decision-making meeting tonight at all. It was
Oh, no.
just strictly for information purposes.
Yeah, no, I understood that from the beginning. It's just, I'm not sure. I have a couple of very serious questions I want to ask, but I want to read the documentation to see if I even need to ask them and to figure out exactly what I'm asking, because I want to word the question correctly so I'm getting the answer I want, and
Sure.
make sure that they understand what I'm actually asking of them. So
Yeah,
we'll
understood. You need the information in front of you. We understand that.
Right,
So
so we're gonna move on. We have tabled number 7, and
Do
we're
you
gonna
want me to
move.
try to set this up as a workshop just between Synergy and you guys on a special night?
Yeah,
Yes,
that
please.
would be open to the public to listen, but yes, a workshop for the Board of Selectmen and Synergy personnel or owners, or, see, I don't even know if they're personnel or they're owners or any of that stuff. So for us to be able to have a discussion, and the public would be able to log in and hear everything that's going on as well.
Sure thing.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to item number 8 for new
Thank you.
business.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thanks,
you as
Steve.
well. We're going to move on to item number 8. So we have had a couple of people from the public, a couple of residents have sent in a request for the board to consider putting an article on the June 2021 ballot. And I'm going to give you a little bit of before I ask anybody for comments, I'm going to give you a little bit of make sure that the information as it was presented to us is on the public record. So I'm going to read a piece of this. So they would like us to put an article on the town warrant that says, shall the town vote to create a committee of 5 residents to evaluate the financial impact to the town of abolishing the high school classes, grades 8 through 12 in the
Nine.
town of
Damn, it's
Excuse me.
9.
That's an error.
It's 9.
It's 9. That's a typo I made. I apologize.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
so.
I'm sorry, point of order. Can I interject here? I'm just
Yes.
confused why they wouldn't have to have a petition. Like, why are
They-
we even talking about?
They are, well, I'd like to get this out, but they don't have to have a petition if they ask us to put it on the warrant and we agree. They have to have a petition if we say, no, we're not looking at this at all. Okay, so
Thank you.
just,
I didn't know that.
okay, sure. So just so the public knows, so this is, so basically what this warrant article would do would be to, the town would not be abolishing the high school classes because you don't abolish a class. You would discontinue offering it locally, and we would be opening our grades 9 through 12 to their school of choice, is what they're asking us to consider and to put on the ballot. They're asking us to build a committee of 5 members, 1 who would be a school board member, 1 who would be a select board member, and 3 members of the public. So I think that this is, like the previous question to me, this is more, this is a too important of a thing for us to decide, just having heard of it 3 or 4 days ago, that we really need to each have some time to talk about it. And the Board of Selectmen are getting ready to have a meeting with the school committee. So I think it would be, premature, in my opinion, for us to make a decision on this before we've had a discussion with the school and see what their thoughts and what their look at the future is. So I think that conversation has to happen before a decision can be made, but that is my opinion. And I will ask the board members, the select board members, if they have any questions or comments that they'd like answered tonight. We could, and what we could do with this is we could vote to put it on the warrant. We could vote to not put it on the warrant. We could table it for a future meeting, or we can make just no action at all. And you don't even have to have a discussion. We can do no action at all, and it can be, come back at a future meeting. So what are the wishes of the board? Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, other than something I've already stated?
Pam, can I make sort of a 35,000 foot level comment? Kind
Sure.
of to start us off. So I was reading through the committee handbook that we're hoping to implement for all the different town committees, and just was reading that a couple days ago, so feel pretty familiar with it. So I guess I'm unclear why this would need to be a warrant article, particularly since the second option here is not. So I guess to me, it doesn't seem like something we need to be voting on in general. If we decide along, and I'm in favor of talking to the school committee first, if it's something we want to do, we would just make it one of the committees that would fall under the select board, and therefore we would be appointing them just like we do, or like we have tonight for other boards.
Right, and absolutely, that's a choice, and I should have read that. I didn't get all the way down to the bottom before I was broken in on like 3 times. So, but that is the third choice, is the board could just say, we want to build a committee, and just go ahead and appoint members to the committee. Vote the committee into place between the board members and assign people to it. There would be no requirement, if the Board of Selectmen did do that, there would be no requirement of the school board to select a member from them to be present on that committee. The Board of Selectmen are not the employers of the school board.
Right, but anyone from the school committee could apply.
That's correct, absolutely. That would be their choice, whether they wanted to appoint someone as a board, or if a board member wanted to join. Correct. So that is the other option. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. So do any of the other, the select board have anything to say on the matter? Do you want to make a motion on this? Do we want to wait until after we've talked to the school board? What do you? What's that, Kim?
Jeff has his hand up.
Thank you, Kim. Pam?
Oh, there you are. I can't see anybody. I only see.
Yeah,
the
press
first
gallery view. There's a button called gallery view, and you can see.
I know. But
Oh,
I'm on an iPad. I only get 8 pictures, so I still don't see everybody. Go ahead, Jeff.
Pam, as you may remember, I was the selectman that was selected to be on the withdrawal committee from the RSU. We as a board or whatever, a committee came with a recommendation saying at some point this article, this committee was going to have to be put together, and I'm excited about this, the preferred method, but I agree with Sarah that if the select board wants to put together a committee, I'm all for it. But I'm just thinking that I would like to go ahead with this.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. I have not heard from Kathy. If you have anything to say?
Well, I was going to say I agree with Jeff, and but I can see everybody else's concerns. The committee, they have, kind of specified the time and et cetera, and what it is that they have to look at and determine. And it's all the fiscal end of things. So if it's, I can see everybody else's concerns, and I don't want this to go away, but I don't mind waiting until everybody has a better handle on it.
Pam?
Okay, yes, and I see that Bill Maloney has his hand
I'm
up. Is
a
that a
selectman and I
selectman?
have my hand up.
Kim had her hand up.
Yeah, okay,
Pam.
I thought selectmen would go first.
yeah,
So-
selectmen are not done talking, so.
Yeah, a couple of concerns and issues about this. First off, I'm not sure if it makes sense for us to put a lot of time and effort into a committee to investigate the economic impact of closing the high school, which I believe is what was written on the requested warrant article. Just a committee that would look at the economic impact. Because the select board doesn't have any authority to close a school building. By law, the only entity that can close a school is the school board. And the school board can't even close a school without permission from the DOE. And so before they could do that, they would need to have a plan and have the plan approved. So we can create a committee to do investigative work, but I don't think that we're really off. I mean, it would be almost like spinning our wheels. And I'd like to go back in time to a previous committee that the select board authorized to look into withdrawing from the RSU. And it did not provide the research that was available to the public that I brought forward at many select board meetings, that Ed Polovarchik also brought forward at select board meetings. It was politicized, and we ended up it cost the town millions of dollars. We also entered into an agreement with the RSU. There's this urban myth out there that agreement is only 10 years. It's not. I have a copy of the agreement. It's forever. So one thing we need to consider is that the difficult to place students of all of RSU 12 are our responsibility forever. So before we think about creating committees, we need to think about who should be on those committees. And I would think it would be people who are authorized to enact the work that they come up with. And I think it should also be people who are educated in order to do this. So there's a reason that we have, people who are certified to be superintendents. There's a reason that we have people who get master's degrees in educational leadership. There are a ton of laws. It's incredibly bureaucratic. There's so much that the layman just doesn't and can't know. So while I would like to put the issue to rest once and for all by coming up with the not only the cost benefit analysis, but also the impact on our community in other ways, the impact on our families, the impact on our realtors, the development aspects of the future of Wiscasset, right? There are people who are trying to attract businesses and homes to our town. So all of that would also need to be calculated into it. I would like to put these issues to rest also, but not by appointing a committee that is not qualified to do the work. So I really think that we need to wait and speak to our school board. There's a reason that we have a school board and they have an expert. You know, in our town, our tax dollars pay for an expert. And why wouldn't we ask this expert to look into this for us before we get, you know, some people who really don't know much about education except what they remember from when they were in high school to do the work.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
Wait until we are, one more minute, Pam. I think that we should wait until we have met with our school committee. And that's my last point. Since I came on the board, I've been hoping that we could build a more positive relationship with the school committee. Why, right after my first election, I created a float and we invited members from both boards to ride on this float through town. We had a big banner with 2 hands shaking. The whole idea was to create unity because half of our tax dollars in town go to the schools. Why on earth wouldn't we work together and come together? So I think that if we make any move on this, it would be reckless and endangering to our future relations with the committee. We have a meeting scheduled, I think, for January 26th. I really urge us all to consider waiting until we talk with our school board, who are duly elected to do this work, not us.
Okay, thank you, Kim. So I've got 2 people that have their hands up to the public. Have we heard from all of the board members? Okay, so I have 2 people that have had their hands up. The first person is Bill Maloney, and then Jason Putnam is after that. So we're going to hear from Bill Maloney first. And I'll give you just a minute or 2 to share your thoughts, and then we'll move on to Jason.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just to give you a background on this, we've prepared a petition, and but with the coronavirus going on, it's going to be very difficult to get 189 signatures on a petition with what's going on. You know, you have to sterilize every pen, and people aren't going to open their doors and so on. So we do have a petition that's not been circulated yet. We wanted to go this way. It would save a lot of time if we could do it this way. There's a lot of interest, people talking about wanting to close the high school. And surprisingly, most of them are natives, not people like myself that are kind of new here. So rather than chancing someone coming up with a petition to close the high school without doing any investigation, we thought it'd be smart to look at what the economic impact would be. Later on, you can get on to feelings about my mother went to the school, my grandmother went to the school, etc. But it was written up there that the school committee would have a piece on this and that they could appoint people. Small committee is better than a big committee, gets things done faster. But there's a lot of things to go into this. So that's why we started this. We still have the petition on my computer. I just got to print it out. And if we can't get it done this year, we probably try to do it again for the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Jason.
Hi, everybody. I'm here as a resident and as a parent of a child. I'm not here representing the school board. Number one, I believe on the face of it, as this is written, it is completely ridiculous. And it's poorly written, and there's no way to get work done with such a small committee in this way. If you were going to actually do something like this, you would have to, I believe, hire a professional group to do it to get a more perfect economic impact in this way. It can't be anecdotally decided by this person, that person, this person. I don't believe that would be correct. And I agree with Kim that this isn't the purview of anybody here at this time, and this would have to be spoken of in depth at a different time and place. But my question is, I want to know who the we is in the we. Nobody signed who they are in this thing. Mr. Maloney is part of this, but it just says we request this, and it doesn't say who they are. This is a public forum and a public matter and a public school. And it also doesn't matter whether you've been here 2 days or your whole life or anything else. If you are a resident of the town, your opinion is as valid as anybody else's. So I'm very curious on the public record, who did this, who requested this?
Sure. Well, on my screen to my left of you is the other person, Judy Colby.
That's correct.
Hi, Judy. So two people have requested a committee be made.
Two people are want to start a petition to have this done.
All right, two people.
Okay, hi Judy. Yes, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Thank you. I know we have, this has been a subject that has been brought up many times in the past. And I don't think the word closing the high school is the correct word. I would not want to see the high school closed. What I would like to see is the high school students give school choice, that they can go to another school, another facility. And before you can do that, in my viewpoint, you need to have all the economic and what can be done. We don't even know if it can be done, if the state will approve school choice for our students. We now have 113 high school students, and I understood that it dropped 70 this year. It may get to the point where, as we all know, we do budgets. I've been on a select board, we've done budgets every year. It's getting more and more expensive, and the people can't afford it. We need to answer their questions. That's my viewpoint. I've had people ask me, why can't we have school choice? Why can't we send our kids to Bath, send them to Lincoln Academy? I think this is the perfect time to do it. And I'm not an advocate of closing a school. I'm not. I think that as a town, we have to do our due diligence and see if there can be any type of cost savings. We have done it in previous departments of the town, and the school is a department of the town. We've done it to the police department. We've taken it to the voters 3 times. We've done it to EMS. We've taken it to the voters twice. I feel that there's people out there would like to have their voices heard, and this is a way to do it. All we're asking is to put it on the warrant. And if the people say no, then that's what the people want. If they say yes, then we can form a committee and we can look into it. After we look into it, we may find out logistically and financially, it's not worth our while. But we can't make that decision until we do the work. So
Thank you, Judy. Okay, Sarah?
Jason can go first and then.
I just wanted to say that the part of the drop in the population is due to the pandemic, and hopefully this is temporary. I don't believe your number is accurate, even though I can't give you the exact number, but it's not much more than that. But I'm just for the point, 113 is probably not correct. I think it's closer to 140, and it is low, but it is our school, and these are our students, and you can, and if that's what you wanted was to look into school of choice, then that's maybe what it should have said, because it says abolish grades 8 through 12 on the piece of paper. So that's just my point.
Thank you.
Okay. Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of really good points being made here, and obviously this has been a really tender issue for as long as I can remember, even as a kid, frankly. And I think or I know Kim is correct that there are lots of steps that you have to take before you close a school. I was on what I thought would be the last Wiscasset School Board before we went into the RSU. And so I'm pretty familiar with that. In terms of choice, it essentially would be closing a school just because the numbers would drop, I think. Pretty fair assessment. In terms of the warrant, I guess I would like us to have the meeting with the school board. I think we need to have a really honest discussion about it, because yes, Jason is absolutely correct that COVID is really impacting those numbers. So I personally don't think we should be making any decisions in the next 4 or 5 months. Need to see how that rebounds. However, Judy and Bill are not the only ones who have brought this up. We know that. We know there are many people, like they said, it doesn't matter whether you've been here for a long time or a year. A lot of people want to answer this question. So I think we need to be thinking about this before we get to the point where we're asking, oh my gosh, we've got 40 students, what are we doing with this? We've got to be thinking progressively about that. But again, it's not just a select board decision. And I think it needs to be a productive conversation that I would hope would start at least with January's meeting.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Yes, Jason, one more time.
Just on the, as to the January meeting, we are still waiting for an agenda on that meeting.
Okay, I
Just
need to point
in case
out
anybody
that,
forgot. Okay,
Pam,
Yeah.
the January meeting is tentative. We have agreed that we can meet on this date. The school board has not yet got back to us to say that they can meet on this date. So
Right,
just, you guys have to understand, this is just a tentative date.
okay.
right. Right, so we're still waiting to hear from the school board to see if they have the 26 available.
And can I just interject, Pam, that, or to answer Jason's question, we, like, I think we just wanted to connect with you guys and like sit down and be like, yeah, we're two, leaders of the town and we're working together. But so that's why it's tricky, like what's on the agenda. But I think now we have an agenda.
Yeah.
Now this is
For Robert's Rules of Order, we just
Right.
needed an agenda. You know what I
I
mean?
also want to just speak to the whole COVID thing. So now I'm an administrator in a school district that is very similar to Wiscasset's. And I work in a 6 to 12 building with lower numbers than what Wiscasset has. And I can tell you that our families and our teachers are extremely stressed due to the global pandemic. It's taking a serious toll. There are mental health issues related to this pandemic. People are physically sick over the stress. You can't imagine what it's like to work in a school building and feel this pressure of, oh my God, everybody's falling behind, and have no control over that. So like, this is really terrible timing, Judy and Bill. Like, this is terrible timing. It's in the newspaper. People are talking about on Facebook, like, oh no, they're going to close the school, or, oh yay, I want my kid to go to Lincoln Academy. There's no guarantee that Lincoln Academy will take any of our kids. This is way putting the cart before the horse, and the timing is just dreadful.
Okay, so,
Excuse me, Pam, I'd like to ask a question. It's Judy.
okay, go ahead one more time.
If you're going to have the meeting with the school board, is that a meeting going to be open to the public?
Well, that's what I was just going to speak to. So
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just to be clear for the public, is my understanding in the meeting with this Board of Selectmen and the school board was for us to start building some bridges and having some communication. The reason there was no agenda written is it's more of a workshop than a meeting.
Okay,
So it's more of a, kind of an open conversation is what we were having on, as I said earlier, what does the school board see as their biggest issues, their biggest challenges coming up? Where do they think that the school is heading in the next, 5 years, 10 years, whatever? And just building those bridges and starting a dialogue. I think that with the introduction of this possible warrant article, either by a vote of selectmen or by a petition, or by the selectmen, without it being on a warrant, ask people to get together and work on these questions. However that comes up, I think that now has become part of what the school board and the town and the selectmen need to really speak about. I've heard, as almost everyone knows, I work at a public library and I see, a lot of people through the course of a year. And these discussions about outsourcing high school and letting our high schoolers have school of choice has been going on for a long time. So I do think that's important that we reach out to the school board and they reach out back to us and we start having these conversations. So Jason, you said that the school board can't, doesn't want to meet without an agenda?
No, I didn't say that, and I can't speak for the school board right now, but I know that the last time it was, and we were like wondering what was the agenda. We'd like to know what you want to discuss. I never heard the word
that's kind of what it is.
Maybe that's fine. I'm personally open to it. I'm always open to
Okay, so I'm
talk
gonna,
amongst adults.
Good.
So that'd be great.
Dennis has his hands up. Right now, this is a discussion between the school board and select board, or mostly there's a school board member on, and he's not speaking
No,
officially
I'm
for the
not-
board,
I'm
but
not a school board here in this meeting. I'm here as a parent and a resident.
Okay. All right,
And
so
Jeff
Dennis had something to clarify, and then Ed Polyavarsic had a question. And
And
then
Jeff
I
has-
think we're going to get ready to start
And
winding
Jeff.
down this topic.
Jeff
Pam,
has his hand up.
Just point out that when I did meet with Terry Wood about this joint meeting, they did ask to have an agenda. So, you know, and of course now,
Okay.
as Kim pointed out, we certainly have one to start with now, but they will want something for an agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll do a bare bones kind of thing with just a couple of things just an introduction to each of ourselves to each other, and then we'll bring this back up at that meeting to start the dialogue. We had Jeff Slack has his hand up.
Pam, I want to back Judy and Bill up. I know that Jason just said, who are the we? I've been part of the we for quite some time. It's something that needs to be addressed. And I get it that this might not be the best well-written article, but I really want to see something to be presented to the town.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Ed Polyavarsic, you had your hand up, and then I'm going to
Yeah,
close.
I just
discussion
had
to
one
the
quick
public.
comment. I guess, once we've left the RSU, I've been concerned that it seems like our enrollment decreases each year. And my concern is that at some point, I think it becomes very difficult for us to offer the number of courses that the children of Wiscasset really need. And I'm kind of concerned that that's going to happen sooner rather than later. And so that we need to be prepared and evaluate where we are and see what is the right thing to do for the children and the education they need. Thank you.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone from the board want to have anything else to say? Board of Selectmen? Any other questions and comments?
I guess I would just say, let's make sure we actually talk about it. I don't want this to be something that just, well, we didn't decide to do the warrant article, so it goes away.
Agreed.
Right. Right, no, this will go on the agenda for a discussion with the school board. So this is absolutely. So having decided that this is a discussion that needs to take place during the workshop with the school board, I am assuming that there is no motion being made on this item, but I will open it up to the board. Does anyone on the board wish to make a motion?
Do we need to make a motion to table it?
I would make.
You don't need to make a motion to table it. You can just table it,
Okay.
I believe.
What'd you say, Dennis?
I would make the motion to table it just to make it official.
I make
Okay.
a motion to table the discussion until we can sit with the school board.
Okay, to table until after meeting with school board. Okay, it's been moved by Kim. Do we have a second?
Second,
Which was the second? Was that Kathy?
Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah, okay, sorry. It's been moved and seconded to table this discussion table this item until after we've had a discussion with the school board. Calling for a vote from the board. Well, I'll ask first, any further discussion from the board? Thank you. Calling for the vote. Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
No.
who's next? Sarah.
Yes.
And Pam votes yes. The motion carries 4-1. Thank you very much. That was a very good discussion from everyone. We are on number 9, the town manager's report.
Nope, we skipped 8A,
Hold on.
8B, and C.
Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh, there we go. You're right, I did. Okay, we're on 8B, resignation of Donald Jones from the appearance of the town committee. So Donald has sent in a letter to resign from the committee. We would need a motion to accept his resignation.
I'll make a motion that we accept with regret, because he had spent 15 years or more on this committee, accept his resignation with regret.
Second.
Is there, okay, Kim. It's been moved by Kathy and Kim to accept the resignation with regret. And also I would add with thanks to Mr. Jones for his hard work on behalf of the town.
Yes.
Calling for the vote for Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, 5-0, motion carries.
I will email him with your expressions. of-
Thank you. Item 8C is the first National Wealth Management Proposal.
So our investment accounts, of course, are with HM Payson, and I think they have been for a number of years. I don't think there's any dissatisfaction with HM Payson, but we also have a very good relationship with the First. They handle a lot of our bonds, a lot of our loans, and all of our checking account. So they stepped forward and said they would like for us to consider moving all or a part of our investment accounts to them. The Investment Advisory Committee has not met in many months. And Jeff, I think you're on that committee, correct?
Yes, I am.
So what I would recommend you guys do with this, I think the advisory committee needs to meet. It's been, I think, almost 18 months since they've met. You can't even entertain the idea of moving your account somewhere else if you don't know what the performance has been on your accounts really for the last 18 months. So I would suggest you guys kick this over to the Investment Advisory Committee, let them meet, let them review the proposal, let them review what the performance has been with Payson. I don't really think there's any reason that we need to change, but it never hurts to take a look at it. So that would be my recommendation to the board with this.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any thing to say to that?
Oh, I think Dennis has hit the nail right on the head. I think what he just said is what we should do.
Well, we have an advisory, yeah, we do have an advisory committee. We should ask them for their advice.
Do we have to make a motion for that or?
No.
No.
No, you don't need a motion for that. We just send this off to the committee. Any other questions from the board? Comments? Okay. So we'll get in, Dennis, you'll get in touch with the financial advisory committee and.
Yep. I'll coordinate.
Okay, thank you very much.
you. Thanks, Dennis.
And we are up to item 9, the town manager's report.
You guys all get a chance to read this.
I did.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions on it?
Thank you for the lights update.
Actually, that meeting is going to happen on Thursday. That was put together today. Sue Anderson did start today. I'm really excited to have Sue in the town office. She's going to be, I think, a great asset to the town. She's really excited to come to work with us. I did the report from Murray, and Murray actually did come today. I have not had a chance to look at it yet at all, but I'll look at it and distribute it to you guys and get it on the next one of the next meetings. There's no huge rush on it, but there's a lot of information there.
It's good.
On the synergy thing, as I mentioned back along, and I've said this for quite a while, that I thought that, that the board really needed a consultant to help deal with some of the technical aspects of the stuff that we don't understand. And I've actually had 3 meetings this week with 3 different people, 3 different companies that we can evaluate that will be able to move forward and help us with this. 2 more yesterday. So if I don't have them for the next board meeting, certainly we'll have them in time for whatever workshop we put together for synergy, so that we have somebody that's kind of looking out for our interests here and whether or not this is something we really should continue to go forward with.
Good.
Thank you, Dennis.
Sounds like a good plan.
Thanks, Dennis.
So that's that, unless there's anything else, any other questions there. Oh, the wind project, I will keep a close eye on that.
I like that.
It's very much in the early planning stages, so who knows where this will go.
Okay, good, thank you. Thank you, so takes us to number.
I think Kim had a question, Pam.
Yeah.
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to make a comment. Like, Dennis, your doing an amazing job. Like all of these, all this research, like calling other towns, other municipalities, checking in with other airports. It's wonderful. I just wanted to thank you so much. I don't know when you must be a workaholic. I actually hope that you're practicing self-care because you're doing so much. It's over the top and it's great. Thank you so much.
Here, here, Dennis. Yes.
Does this mean I can skip a 6-month evaluation now?
No,
No,
I'm not that important.
no.
That might require workshop.
Item number 10 for other board business. Does anyone from the board have something that they wanted to address that was not on the agenda?
No.
Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Item number 11.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded by Jeff and Kathy to adjourn. Calling for the vote. Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam is a yes. And it is, motion carries at 7:15, 5-0.
You
Thank
all
you
just,
so much.
you all just have a few documents to sign for the committee nominations. They're on DocuServe.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. Great discussions, and we'll see you next meeting.
Yeah,
night, you
it's
guys.
7:15.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Good night.
I don't know if you can hear me. 7:15.
Yeah, I said 7:15.
I thought you said 50. Sorry.